Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold that thought. Do over. I'm not even going to like start from scratch because I don't want to. I'm a little bit all over the place, as may be some of you. After the full moon in Gemini was exact at 10:30, I think it was 10:35 p.m. on Saturday. That's Central Time. The moon just hours later moved into Cancer, where we tend to be a little bit more emotional. Additionally, the moon is currently today moving into an opposition to Mercury, and then later tomorrow, and into, I think it may be in the middle of the night on Wednesday. No, it should be on Wednesday, I think. Regardless, we're going to be feeling, the moon is going to oppose this Pluto where Venus is retrograding. So let me just tell you what I'm getting from this. Venus is in retrograde. She went into retrograde on the 18th. And so we're reevaluating what we want basically out of life, but from relationships, from work, from just what do we want? Okay. And it doesn't mean that we're going to know. This is an exploratory thing because Venus is in review, right? Whenever there's a retrograde, it's about review. So we're kind of reviewing our lives. Could also be that we are reevaluate. We could be reevaluating choices that we've made and stuff like that. And if we're aware of this, like, it just makes it easier to kind of deal with, like, oh, okay, I might not be able to make sense out of everything right now, right? There can be, same with Mercury retrogrades, only this is more about relationships and our desires, also finances. Venus is she's bougie. She wants what she wants, right? But we can get into like disagreements, particularly with significant others. Be mindful of that in your relationships, that you might be reworking the way that you relationship together, right? And there could be some arguments, some things where you don't see eye to eye, but it's an opportunity to be like, hey, how about we communicate like this? Why don't we do this? Anyway, that's going on. I am about to fly to Denver, so I'm going to be in Colorado for a little bit. And then after that, I'm flying to Jersey. Basically, I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be doing shit, but I'm going to be working on me and kind of reassessing how I'm approaching things with my work schedule. You guys didn't need to know all that, but it's my channel, so I'm telling you. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. The sun is in Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius is like ideas, and I want to do this, and we're kind of like, Sagittarius takes the bow and arrow and aims it for the stars. But with Capricorn, it's the goat climbing the mountain. Okay, so once the sun gets into Capricorn, and there's going to be a lot of energy in Capricorn, right? We have Mercury in Capricorn, Venus retrograding, Pluto in Capricorn. So we want to look at like the nuts and bolts of us and our world and what we do. And we're like putting the earthy pieces of it together. I'm going to pull a few cards. I'm actually doing a thing when I go to Colorado. I'm not bringing my cards with me. This is like the first time in a few years that I'm bringing one deck because, but anyway, let's see who wants to come out. This one for some reason. And this guy. I'm going to do these generally, not really giving like a time frame or anything like that. Could be like for the next week, could be for the next, you know, over the holidays, whatever happens. That's kind of like life, right? Shuffle one more time. A star. That just made me think of Christmas, if you celebrate, but the Magician and the Page of Swords. The Star and the Magician. The Star is hope after a difficult time, okay? In the tarot, it comes after the Tower. The Tower is when things crumble. And there's a lot of tough astrology coming up, right? So if you've been through a difficult time, we've been purging things. This full moon, man, I felt it. It was teaching us something. It was in aspect to Jupiter. So we were letting old ideas fall away, old beliefs fall away. And celebrating things that we've learned over the past, you know, call it year or whatever. It was the first full moon after eclipse season. So it's kind of like, yay, the chaos of eclipse season it's not really over. It goes on for, you know, different cycles, but maybe we were like illuminated about something that we experienced during eclipse season. Maybe we started putting things together. So we're seeing the Star of Hope, right? We're going into the holidays. Try to enjoy the holidays. I try not to say try, but I just said it right twice. The Magician. Magician is the alchemist. That's kind of putting pieces together, like figuring out what you have, what you can make out of it. It is kind of a lesson of things are what you make them. So try to create from a positive space, which also we've got the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is, in this one, he's kind of like taking aim, but it's a child playing with a sword, never mind. But it's the energy of a child. So let me clarify that one. Because with the Page of Swords, I always think of it like a kid who speaks their mind and doesn't necessarily intend to hurt anyone, right? Like when they ask their mom something about somebody really loud and it's like insulting, you know, and they just don't know any better. Like, why is this like that? Or, you know, why is there a bum on the, like, why is that man sleeping on the sidewalk? Or just things that can be said innocently. But it can also be the childish nature of being like petulant or, you know, petty or gossipy, and just that's the not good aspect of the Page of Swords, right? But the Page of Swords on the higher aspect is being curious, is seeking, moving forward. And these cards do feel like we're not necessarily moving forward, but the ideas and the attitude in this time as we enter Capricorn, which is an earth energy, it builds, it, you know, it creates structures. So whatever we approach this Capricorn season with, that energy is what is going to manifest for us at a later date. You know, and we can infuse it with hope. Let me clarify the Page of Swords. Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, that's emotional fulfillment. Oh, we also have the moon in Cancer right now, where in a month, December 8th or January 18th, we're going to have a full moon in Cancer. So approach this cycle with an attitude of creating a future that will be emotionally fulfilling for you. Okay. As we're in Capricorn season, this Cancer energy is the opposite. And Capricorn is kind of the worker. They go out and they work, but there's a polarity between them and Cancer because we need a balance. We've got to create this nurturing space within ourselves or within our home. But we've got to, we are working because we want to be emotionally fulfilled. That was cool. Let me do. I recognize that I have chosen fear and I choose again. I choose love. I've got like a bigger thing coming in. Okay, so ready. 2021. Let's not say it sucked, right? And 2021 didn't actually suck for me, but like, you know, sometimes I see this thing where it's like, you know, fuck off old year, welcome new year, right? But let's be grateful. Let's choose to see as we're going into the holidays, be grateful for what this year has taught you. And if you show gratitude, oh, right. Okay. So when you go for a job interview and you want a new job, if you're like, if they at one of the questions that they usually ask is, why did you leave your old job, right? Well, if you go on a rant about how shitty your old job is, you might get the new job. But the thing is, they're going to look at your attitude about leaving the old place you worked with in mind, whether like consciously or not, that's the kind of attitude that you have about your work and about the people that you work with. So I've always been like trying to put my past experience with my work in a positive light. And sometimes it's a stretch, but it's always a good exercise in to do so, you know, like what did I learn from that experience? Why do I want to move on? What kind of goals do I want to achieve? So as we are wrapping up 2021, let's try to take the lessons that we've learned from 2021, whether it was a good or bad year for us personally. Some of my worst years have led to some really incredible things. As we move forward into the new year, because it's like we're doing a job interview with the new year right now, and it's going to assess our attitude about the past year as we go into creating the new one. Yeah, I recognize that I have chosen fear and I choose again, I choose love. And we've got family here. And we've got gossipy here. Okay. You know, this 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment, but it's also like a family card. So sometimes I am grateful for things that don't happen. You know, when we manifest, it's like you show gratitude and thanks for things that you don't have yet. And that's how it brings them into your experience on your vibration and a bunch of woo-woo weird shit that I'm into, but I won't bore you with. But even if I don't get what I was manifesting, the I sure as hell enjoy my life a lot more by being in gratitude and always like, and always just being here right now. Like, and think not because I'm trying to think of a careful way to say not necessarily future tripping or anything like that, but just moving forward in love, not fear, not being fearful of like this being gone or that being lost or whatever, or like, oh, I'm like, and I'm saying this because my family is amazing, so it's an easy one for me to use. Like some people do dread like seeing their family and saying, instead of saying like, oh, I have to go see um my family or whatever on this day, go into it with an attitude of like, I'm gonna learn something this holiday, right? Just putting an expectation for good things right now. We are creating after a lot of chaos, and let's create from that hopeful place, not the fearful place of like, how much worse can it get? Anyway, I have got to get ready to go, and I hope you all have a good week. You probably will be hearing from me, just no promises, but have a great day. Peace. Namaste.